Hey, I'm here and today I want to talk about fun game I beat. This is a show where we talk about game that I beat. When I beat a game, I just want to sit down and make this video, talk a little bit about the game that I just beat and kind of like my opinion about the game. It will be useful for some of you who have never heard about the game before, and for those who have played the game, they might not have seen a lot of people talk about it. So this is a show that I kind of do that for, and it also let me kind of encapsulate my feeling on certain game that I have just played. So the game that I want to talk about today in this third episode of Fun Game I Beat is Killer's Dead.
Checkmate.
So Killer's Dead is a hack and slash third person camera action game, which is a really cool type of game. It's developed by Grasshopper manufacturer to be exact, and it is published by Deep Silver. It is one of those games that Suda51 worked on. So for those who have played Suda51, you probably know what I'm talking about. He made a lot of weird and wacky games. He made No More Hero, he made Lollipop Chainsaw, and other games as well. Like all of his game is kind of weird and like some of them have a very American centric type of element, but some of them have some Japanese element mixed into it as well. But usually he always do something so weird, so off the wall, so crazy, so insane. And the ridiculousness of Suda51 design is very much is a big part in this game. You'll be fighting off a lot of different type of enemy. The game is very much a level by level like action type game. If you have played any action hack and slash game before, it very much very similar to that, like DMC, the reboot of DMC. It really does remind me a lot of that. So it have a lot of those hack and slash element. It's very simple. So you have one button for hitting enemy, then you have one heavy attack that you can upgrade to kind of do a knockback. So when enemy block your attack, it will knock the enemy back. Then you have a dodge button, which the same dodge button also is a block button, and if you block it at the right time, it have a parry mechanic. So it's a very simple mechanic. Like if you play a game like Fury in this year as well that come out, it have a very similar mechanic to that. So in terms of mechanic, it's not the most advanced thing in the world, but when combined with Suda51 kind of design, it get really insane, get really weird. And the storytelling is the most wacky stuff. So you play as this guy called Mondo. They're hired to take out all these guys, and like, oh, they have like an assassination contract basically. And some people would sign their contract and they would come in and they would go on a mission and kill bad person usually.
I see. If you hear children scream in terror every single night, and your window is spattered with blood, then it's only natural to assume that you're living next door to some kind of demon or a monster. However, I do need to inform you that the function of this office is execution. You got any problem with that?
Execution?
Yeah. Well, this is a monster.
It's a monster.
Right, a monster.
We kill monsters!
That okay with you?
Yes.
And it can be anything from a giant robot, someone who cut someone else's ear off and wear a headphone, or Alice in Wonderland that get transformed into a weird monstrosity thingy.
It hurts! It hurts! It hurts! It hurts! It hurts! It hurts! It hurts!
Mondo, am I a tortured soul?
I know it sounds pretty weird, sounds pretty insane, but you have to play it yourself, to experience yourself, to really kind of understand how weird this game is. One of the more interesting mechanic you also have is your right hand. Your right hand is a cyborg hand, so his right hand can be used as this like shooting weapon, so it very much can feel like a top-down shooter sometimes, like when you aim and you try to shoot enemy. And it also have a usage gauge for that, so you would have usage gauge for your gun, and that basically act as like a mana system for the game, and you can collect that from killing enemy and stuff like that. And also you can get upgrade for your arm, and there's also help upgrade and stuff like that as well. The more you collect, the more it increase in level, like I said, but it is very much a very incremental upgrade. Is not the most interesting. The more interesting upgrade, however, is the way in which you can change your arm, and you can get that by dating, which is like, yeah, it's really weird. You can go on a date with girls, which is like the most weirdest thing in the world. It's very Suda 51, right? So I'm definitely not a big fan of that. Like, you can go on a date with girl, and then after you finish your date, and then you would get a weapon, which it doesn't make sense at all. Like, why would you get a weapon from dating a girl? So many stuff just doesn't make sense. Like, a lot of people who sign contract with you end up not paying out of different circumstances. One of them is like, oh, they are actually a bird in disguise as human.
But with this,
One of them is a ghost.
Now my death has been avenged. I greatly appreciate your help.
Like, they have this crazy review, and I'm like, what? What? It doesn't make sense. And like, Mondo have this girl who's always with him, who's this Japanese senpai and eccentric girl in every anime. Then there's this badass chick who can have like 100 arm, very similar to Nico Robin in One Piece. And then you have this badass cyborg dude who almost straight lift up from Cyborg from Teen Titans, right? And so there's all these characters and all these guys who you are with, but like usually you're going in solo, but like some of these characters might help you out from time to time.
I'm trying to shift rails and send it away from the city, but it's frozen and won't budge.
But yeah, you'll be fighting all weird type of enemy, from giant robot to train. You also get to fight train as well, which, oh my god, you find a stream train. What? This game is so weird. Like, it's one of the weirdest game I played. And I play No More Hero. No More Hero is one of my favorite Wii game. They really does a good job in terms of using Wii, and like hacking and slashing enemy in Wii is really fun. And hacking and slashing in this game is really fun too. But you know, like I said, it's very simple. But they make it pretty satisfying, and it's like, I feel the same way with this game as I feel with DMC. I think DMC is actually a little bit more complex than this, and I know a lot of Devil May Cry fan would call me hypocritical to say that, because DMC is very much a streamlined version of Devil May Cry franchise. But personally, I'm happy with that. I'm happy with it not having too much complicated mechanic and layer on top of complicated moveset that already exists with the Devil May Cry franchise. You know, I like Devil May Cry 4, but I actually like DMC a lot too. And I think this game is almost a streamlined version of DMC, which should technically make it worse. But I mean, as long as you get the core stuff right, I think it can be fun. Like in this game, parrying is really fun. You can parry enemy, and if you time it right, you can also dodge out of enemy way, and it gives you this like bullet time kind of thing. It is slow down the time, and then it would get let you hack and slash enemy really quickly, and you can match X, and enemy is going to get cut into pieces, and it's like it's really satisfying. It's really fun. Sometimes it really showed me that you don't need to have the most complex system in the world. You just have to have it be satisfying, right? Like it also reminded me a lot of Batman Arkham City and Batman Arkham Asylum, right? Their system is not the most complicated system in the world. You just press Y when enemy attack. But you can make it really satisfying if you make it really stylistic, you make it really engaging, right? And there's always going to be people who want to have more complex mechanic, complex fighting system. And you know, when I play Devil May Cry 4, I want that as well. When I play Devil May Cry franchise in general, I want that. And that's something that we don't have in DMC reboot, of course. But you can also look at all those games in different scenarios. Well, you can look at them individually and find enjoyment out of them, right? Like Fury is also a really great example of hack and slash game that come out this year that I also really enjoy. And that game also have like this game doesn't have too much complicated mechanic. You have parrying, you have attacking, you have shooting your gun, very similar to this game. If you do that right, it still feel really fun. And if you have like cool element to introduce and keep changing element, I mean like it can be really really engaging. Something I have to respect is the how loose the story really is, and like I know Studio 51 is really weird, but like this is on another level. Like No More Hero is weird, but this is like super weird, right? Especially those dating mission is like, come on, man. And it's not optional. It's not optional as well, so you have to do it if you want to upgrade. Which I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do it. It feel really weird. It feel really uncomfortable to do. But like I know a lot of people might find that interesting, might find that funny. It is definitely funny to do it, like giving a gift and stuff like that to seduce them, and after seduce them so you can get upgrade for your weapon so you can kill more enemy. It's really weird, and the story is, like I said, the weirdest one from Suda 51 period for me. Like I think it's weirder than Lollipop Chainsaw or weirder than No More Hero. So um really weird. And I played on PC. The game run fine on PC. It run on 30 frames per second. It is locked at 30 frame. A lot of people may say that's unacceptable. For me, I don't care. I can play the game at 30 frame or 60 frame or 144 hertz monitor, right? Like those exist. My PC can run that. I'm fine with all of those as long as the game run constantly and it doesn't have those hitching or frame drop or stuff like that. I have problem when it is 30 frame or 20 frame and like and it lock at those frame and it have hitching or it have pixel graphic or it have some stuff like shaky camera or stuff like that that would create motion sickness. That's when I have problem. But in this case, I didn't have any motion sickness. The game run fine at 30 frame. I know you can unlock it, but I heard it messed up the physics in the game, so I didn't want to touch it on my first playthrough. I want to experience the game for what it is first. Maybe I would go back and mess around and see if I can play it at 60 frames per second or higher. But yeah, like the game is really fun. It's a really cool game. The story is super weird. The game is really level by level. The upgrades are incremental, but you also have this cool upgrade that can do different things. Like one of them is shooting, one of them is shooting freeze gun, the other one is a drill hand. There's some weird secret in the game as well, and it's a fun game. It's one of those games that you just play and then you move on, and it's one of those hack and slash games that I find a lot of satisfaction out of. I really like hack and slash game, especially when it's satisfying to hit enemy, to dodge from enemy, to parry enemy attack. I get that from Dark Souls, I get that from DMC, I get that from this game, I get that from Fury. So like these type of games that give me those type of feeling when I play it, I'm in, man. I'm in. Like it's like, but Bloodborne is also another great example. You know, people like to say Dark Souls and Bloodborne is very similar. I would argue otherwise. I enjoy parrying in Dark Souls. Those are always satisfying. But in Bloodborne, the act of like unleashing your attack on enemy is also satisfying. Like I said, I'm comparing it to a lot of game, and like because I have to say there's not a lot of substance there. If you want to go in expecting Devil May Cry level of combat, you're not gonna get that. period. Like you're not gonna get as much complexity in terms of gameplay there. But when you take a look back a little bit and try to compare to other games, it is fun. It is a good time. You're gonna have fun with the game, and if you enjoy hack and slash at all, I have to say this game is satisfying to play through. Unless you only play the complex one like the Ninja Gaiden Black one, the DMC 3, right? Like if you only play those type of crazy complex combo heavy type of game, Bayonetta, right, then maybe not, this might not be for you. But if you enjoy hack and slash in general, I think this one is fun. The Studio 51 element make the game really weird, really fun, really quirky, really different, and the whole aesthetic design of the game is really cool as well, the whole cel-shaded art style. So yeah, I really like the game. I think it might be better than what a lot of people read in the review, because I remember when this game originally came out, it didn't get a high review score, and I personally wouldn't give it a high review score as well, because like I said, very simple game, very middle of the road game, but the sum is bigger than the part of the game. So like the gameplay may be simple, the story may be weird, and the art style may be simple, cel shaded, but when combined together, I think it creates a really cool experience, and I think it is worth playing. So thank you for watching, and see you guys next time. Peace.
Don't tell me. You're... the darkness.
Killer is dead.